Is anybody here seeing our Forest of Dreams for the first time today? Okay, it's fun. You have to get over and take a look. See what all the branches say. It could take you quite a while to go through them all. I'm picking a few at a time for us to go through because I feel like there's so much power there in that forest, and we don't want to leave them there just as a dream, right? We want them to come out and start living in our lives, to become a reality, to manifest in some way. And I'm choosing different topics based on what my class has been for the week. So we're kind of mishmashing all of this together. And today we're talking about vibrant health. And how can some of these dreams help us with vibrant health? We want to manifest that in our bodies. And I want you to think about how your spirit came first, way before the body. Your spirit is an eternal expression of the divine. And you chose to come into this experience and manifest this physical thing we call a body. And you've been basically kind of guiding it along its path in manifestation ever since it first sprouted into a single cell and began to unfold and be born and continue to grow. Some of us grow more than others. So, oh, come on, you guys. That was a self-deprecating joke. So, what I want us to do, if you've been here before and you heard me talking about these trees, or you helped create one, each tree has a word on its trunk that is a divine idea. And the ones that I've chosen today are ideas that I think will help us express vitality and vibrant life in our bodies. And the first one that I landed my eyes on was the tree that says oneness on its trunk. Oneness. How is it that oneness can help us maintain vibrant life? It kind of speaks for itself, I think. To understand our oneness with God, to understand our oneness between the body and the spirit, is to know that we're never separate from our good, we're never separate from that divine principle of life, and that if we want to experience life in the body, first and foremost, keep your heart and mind focused on that divine idea of oneness. Because the source of the good in the body is the source of God in you. And something that Esther Hicks said that has just really helped me have a clearer picture of how to maintain our sense of health. She says, every cell in your body has a direct relationship with creative life force. That's powerful. Think about that. Every cell has a direct relationship with creative life force. And each cell is independently responding. When you feel joy, all the circuits are open, so the life force can be fully received. And when you feel guilt, shame, blame, fear, or anger, the circuits are hindered, and life force cannot flow as effectively. Physical experience is about monitoring those circuits and keeping them as open as possible. Another good reason to focus on oneness, that we are one with creative life force. As long as we keep our focus there, lean into it, trust it, expect it to do its great work in our body. So imagine that as our spirit filling this body, it's got a blueprint embedded in our spirit for how this body should behave. And this blueprint is communicating from spiritual cell of the nervous system to spiritual cell or a physical cell in the body, communicating, giving it instructions on what to do. And as long as we can hold that consciousness and realize that and make way for that, and how did we make way for that? Joy is one of those ways that we are aligned with spirit. Now, our body has a chance to express as it was designed to express, from wholeness and from life. And, of course, living in this experience, every once in a while, we run into an upset or two, which tends to lower our energy, which tends to get in the way of our body and our spirit to communicate. Those stressful days are what ends up interfering and separating us in communication between spirit and physicality. Something that John Randolph Price said, within the consciousness of God mind is the idea of the perfect body, and this ideal pattern is constantly seeking to renew the body after itself when our mind is in tune with its Christ nature. It becomes harmonious, and this state of consciousness will maintain order in the bodily function. So when does that happen? When our mind is in tune with our spirit. The very essence of God expressing as us. Now that's not something that we easily do on a daily basis because we got too many human things to think about, right? But the good news is that intelligence is available to us and ready to guide those cells if we will keep in communication with them. And another way that we do that, and another trunk on one of our trees here, is spirit. So while we think of oneness, it reminds us to keep our minds in tune with divine mind. Think of keeping our body in tune with spirit. And we talk about spirit in this particular case. Spirit helps support vibrant health because spirit is always perfect, whole, and complete. There's no flaw, there's no sickness in our spirit. So when we talk about focusing on that which can, in prayer time, that which can lift us up, we don't focus on the symptoms. We don't focus on the lack or the slow, heavy energy of the body. We focus on the spiritual energy that's within us. And Esther Hicks says it in such an interesting way. She said, you're more source energy than flesh. Just take that in for a minute. You are more source energy than flesh. How can that be? Because the very essence of existence is spirit. And have we not been taught by science itself that our body is 99% space? So consider that. Even though it feels pretty solid, especially after you had some of your chocolate and peanut butter ice cream, it feels very solid. But at the same time, there's more space in you, and that space is spirit. So as Emma Curtis Hopkins says, spirit occupies the place that matter claims to occupy. We think this is all tangible when really there is perfection and wholeness in spirit in us. Now, Myrtle Fillmore, one of our co-founders, you probably have heard her story of being given 6 months to live with tuberculosis. And she herself grew up with a belief that there was a thing in her body that she had inherited and that she could not bypass. And that thing was something that her parents warned her about. It might have been the thing of the DNA that she inherited. It might just be that her parents were sickly and weak and tended to lean towards tuberculosis. But she didn't have to lean into that if she could remember that she was spirit. And she didn't really know that yet. This was really her aha that kind of gave birth to the unity movement, was who she really was. And after the doctors giving up on her and she going into various classes that helped her understand more clearly how spirit worked in us, she discovered and held this thought, which many of us in Unity know by heart, is, I am a child of God, and therefore I do not inherit sickness. This was what helped her understand that the spiritual energy that she truly was came packed with vibrant life, and that she did not have to settle for the physicality, for the belief in this thing called a disease that needed to take over her body. Come back to the thought, Myrtle, that I'm mostly spiritual energy, and that is always whole. And it's from that level of consciousness that it took a couple of years of just maintaining that consciousness that her body healed. And she went on to live another 40 plus years. Now, Charles, her husband, said that the life source is spiritual energy. We can have the fullness of life by realizing that we live in a sea of abundant, omnipresent, eternal life. And by refusing to allow any thought to come in that stops the consciousness of the universal life flow. Life flow. Take that in for a minute. I am spirit. I live in a sea of abundant, omnipresent, eternal spirit. Keep that thought present in your awareness. This is when we have a chance to live and express vibrant health in our bodies, because the body is listening to the spirit unless our humanness gets in the way, which is our third tree. We cannot deny our humanness. Our third tree has a trunk of humanness. And if you live long enough, you're tempted to wish that you weren't human, or you're ready for that humanness to move on and you're ready to move into your spiritual dimension. But my darlings, our humanness is the very source of the nitty-gritty that we're living here in life. It's why we came here. We need this humanness in order to fulfill our spiritual path. We didn't come here to ignore the human and just talk about spirit. I know you might think otherwise if you listen to me long enough, but trust me, the human gets plenty of vocal attention from us and from everyone else. So think of this. My humanity is here not to be resisted, but to be experienced. I'm also here to give thanks for my humanity because it's allowing me to have lessons that I could never have in the spiritual dimension. It's adding to my evolutionary process, so savor that. Meet your humanity with gratitude. You might even think of your human body as your partner. I almost said partner in crime, but partner in life, because this partner is taking the brunt of what you're experiencing in this life. Our spirit is never touched, harmed, denigrated, reduced in any way, no matter what the body is going through. But here's the body, it's just like hanging in there, trying to do its best. So our goal is to communicate with our humanity, our human body, from the spiritual consciousness. That means just keeping your thoughts on God, on oneness, on spirit, and communicating from that perspective. And Charles was really big on praising what it was that you wanted to expand. So he said, turn the power of praise upon whatever you wish to increase. Give thanks that it's now fulfilling your ideal. The faithful law, faithfully observed, will reward you. You can praise yourself from weakness to strength, from ignorance to intelligence, from sickness to health. How many of you have ever praised your body? Yeah, not a ton of us, and not very often. But it's just waiting to receive that appreciation from us. So as we think about how our body is behaving in any given moment, if there is a sense of stress or anxiety or a feeling, a heaviness of sickness, of some kind of symptom in the body, see if you can't find one thing in your body to praise. The fact that it's gotten you here, that it's gotten you this far in life, that it's what's allowing you to have this life and all the good that is in this life. Show some appreciation for that. Praise that which is functioning properly in the body. Celebrate it. When the left side is weak, praise the right. You're training the left to pay attention to what's good over here on the right side. We also want to look at the tree over here that has a trunk that says sustainable. And this one's got a whole lot of truth packed into that one word, sustainable. What is sustainable that can help us live a vibrant, healthy life? You know, oftentimes we put all of our faith in the medicine or the doctor's surgery. And I think we've all taken medicine and learned that either the medicine stops working or it runs out or the thing comes back. That we have the surgery, but it was a whole lot of pain and a whole lot of money. What is it not? Just hear me. I'm not saying to don't go see a doctor. Absolutely sign up for doctor's help. If that's what your faith is in, you go. Get there ASAP. And at the same time, there are other things available to us that are sustainable. And you know, when we talk about sustainability in this day and age, we usually associate it with, well, the definition that I found out was ability of the human civilization to coexist with the biosphere in a steady state. So you probably hear sustainability a lot about how we take care of our planet. Yes, we don't want to overrun it if we want to have something to live on in our future, think long term. But that's also true for our economy. It's true for social equity. What can we be doing that is sustainable to care for these different aspects of our life? Same question for the body. Now, this is what's so interesting about what is sustainable that we can do for the body. Guess what? It's not medicine, although I say take your medicine if that is what makes you feel good. But I'm also talking about looking towards that which is sustainable in spirit that supports a healthy body. Everything of spirit that supports a healthy body is sustainable because it's all eternal. It's all infinite. It will never run out. It will always be available to us. And it's what's here day and night for us to call on if we just remember. So let's look at a few things that keep us alive, alert, awake, joyous, and enthusiastic about life that's associated with spirit. Now, first of all, I just want you to know that when you align yourself with spirit, I'm not sure most of the world would use that languaging, but to me, it's similar. Aligning yourself with spirit is similar to some research that's been done that says, for those of you who consciously live a happier life, you choose to be more happy in life, you choose to be more optimistic, you choose to be more loving or giving or kind or caring. It's that state of consciousness that causes your body to live longer. Did you know that? They've done studies. They've discovered in research that the more that we're able to maintain those, I mentioned, happiness and love. Is that not God? Is that not a consciousness of God? So align your consciousness with God. Right there, you have a better chance of living longer. And truly, my belief is if spirit were not part of this body, if it didn't maintain a lodging for as long as we're alive, then we'd have a pretty hard time living any health at all, let alone any length of time. So trust the sustainability of spirit within you to help create a vibrant life in your body. And one of the first sustainable tools that will never run dry, as far as what I've discovered in my own head, is thought. My thoughts never run dry. Now, it's important that you choose thoughts, and that's your power of power when we're talking about our 12 powers. We can choose our thoughts. We want to choose thoughts that align with God and align with the truth about God in our bodies when we're talking about health. Something that is written in our Fundamentals of Unity book says, positive thinking is a definite step toward healing. God has given us the power to think, and our thoughts can either hinder or put us on the forward path. Center your thought on God and God's healing, cleansing, vitalizing life flowing in and through you. Remember, God's life and health fill every part of your being. What a wonderful thought. A thought you can choose. You can go back online to our website, unityinnaperville.org, and you can click on from all the tabs at the top, it's going to say something about media or whatever will get you to the podcast. And the podcast will have these slides. And you might just want to come back to these slides and write these quotes down, because they are all good thoughts to maintain. I couldn't sleep last night, so I've literally opened up books on various topics of authors that lift me up in consciousness, and I read several pages, and then I keep them in my voice memos, and if I can't sleep at night, I just turn them on, and my voice puts me right to sleep. But it's also going in with some really good words. So choose those thoughts. Another thing you can do with your thoughts is turn them towards imagining another one of our powers. Use our power of imagination to picture health in your body, to imagine that you're more active, that you're more balanced, that you're more productive, that you're more peaceful. Just see yourself in the body that you want to have. That is a sustainable tool that will never run dry. It's just up to you to use it, and remember to use it. Another way that we use thoughts is words that we speak. Some of us were born with the gift of gab. But we each have the ability to speak. And when you find that your body is starting to weaken on you, then you just sit down and put everything aside, and you just turn within and you start talking to your body. And you start telling it what is true about it. That you are 99% spirit. That everything in you is filled with light. That everything in you has life energy flowing through it. That it's a happy, joyful body. Just keep telling it exactly how you want it to behave. But don't be bossy. Just be direct and calm about it and repetitive for as long as you need to until you can start to feel it sinking down into your subconscious. So all these methods of using our thoughts, our imagination, our words are just ways that we can draw on these tools forever and never run dry. Now, another spiritual tool that I love to work with is light. Spiritual light is also sustainable. It's not going anywhere. It's never going to run out. Everything that we see in this universe begins as the essence of light. Read Genesis chapter 1. Let there be light. That was number 1 on the list. Light in this spiritual and physical dimension is present as an essence of God. And that even though sometimes we describe light or use a symbol for light as like a light bulb over our head, like we're getting an idea, that's true, and wisdom is useful when we're trying to get to living a healthy life. I want you to think today, though, as light as the way Charles Fillmore would describe it. He called it a spirit power. Light is spirit power. And that spirit power is something that he believed would raise us quickly from depression or negative states of mind into power and zeal and expression of the Christ within. He also talked about using light to help grow his legs. So if you haven't heard his story, with a skating accident as a child, his legs stopped growing. Now he's in his 40s, he's watching Myrtle figure out how healing works in the body, and he starts doing his own work, and his leg was 4 inches shorter than the other. He began to use light on the shorter leg. He'd just sit for hours at night. Middle of the night, he'd be using light on his leg, imagining that its energy was moving through the leg, healing anything that was deficient, anything that was lacking, bringing it more energy. He said it glows and blends with an omnipresent etheric atmosphere that's highly charged. That's what his experience was of light, and light never ends. Light is always available. Direct light, call on light. First of all, see it in your own body. Use your imagination. See it in your own body, but you might want to call it in. Call it in as a stream in a certain area of your body. Give it direction as to what it is that you want it to do. May Rowland was one of our directors of Silent Unity years ago, and she said that the light of man's spiritual nature can turn darkness into light. It can change a barren life into a productive life. You will have a different feeling about yourself when the light of your spiritual nature sheds its radiance upon every part of your life. Now, how does it do that? You direct it. You guide it. You tell it what it is that you want it to do. And the last tool that I want us to think of today as sustainable, that's up here on our wall, is love. There's several trees there with love on the trunk. Think of love in this particular case as it's not only the essence of God, but to me it's the essence of everything. Well, God is everything. So it's kind of like a circle. You just can't get away from love because love is everywhere present. So let's think, first of all, today, before we finish up, let's think that our body is a vehicle or a temple, as it's described in the Bible. A human temple for spirit to reside. And we're going to send love to our temple. We're going to see it as good. To me, that's the definition of love. To see it as good, to do good for it, to want good for it. But first and foremost, see your body with love, remembering that God is love, and in God there is no darkness. So light and love, all part of the essence of our being. We just want to bring it out. We want to lift it up. We want it to express more of itself. So Paul Hasselbeck wrote that love is the key to wholeness in mind and body. Love harmonizes, blesses, and unifies. A loving attitude causes harmony to be the dominant factor in body and mind, and it maintains good health. Love is the ability to desire wholeness and perfection. Therefore, cultivate an awareness of love in every facet of life. So, I like to read stories of people who died and came back to life. That's the important part. And when they come back to life, they tell stories of what their experiences were in the spiritual dimension. And pretty much everybody, I mean, they all have different experiences, but one of the most common is love was everywhere. It's like you couldn't get away from it. It's like you were breathing it. It's like they describe a building and say the walls were made of love. I mean, that just grabbed me. So, if that is the essence of who we are outside this body, then we want to make sure that that loving experience is something that gets into the body directly through our consciousness. To support it and love it and give it lots of hugs. And how many times do you go stand in front of the mirror and say, I love you, kitty? When was the last time you did that? If anybody did that today, raise your hand. Way to go. See me afterwards. Okay, thank you. Okay, so room to grow there, right? To stand in front of the mirror, maybe even put your arms around yourself and say, I love you, body. I am so grateful for you. You are so awesome. Thank you so much for letting me have this experience in life. I love everything that you're doing for me. It's the one thing that I don't think anybody teaches us as children. And the first thing that we learn is what everybody else is doing to their bodies, and they're complaining about it, right? Shaming, blaming, embarrassed, how horrible it was to have to, hang out in the, what did they call that room? When I was in school and you'd go change your clothes for gym. The locker room. See, I put it out of my mind. Yeah. There was no love in that room. Nobody had love for anybody, especially themselves. We all just tried to hide from each other. So, something we get to relearn. If we want to have a vibrant, healthy body, start giving it love. That's renewable. You will never run out of love. But it is something we choose. We have to be aware of in us. The Jaffolas, Richard and Mary Alice, said that your body has a need to feel loved. Regularly blessing your organs, tissues, and cells motivates them to perform as they were created and designed to perform. Your body loves to hear the truth about itself. It breaks whatever pattern it was following to follow a new design. Ooh, that is a good one. I'm going to say that again. Your body loves to hear the truth about itself. It breaks whatever pattern it was following to follow a new design. That's cool. Take time to bless your body in meditation or whenever you have a few minutes. How many times are we sitting at a stoplight complaining when we could be loving our bodies? How easy is that? Let me just finish by telling you a story about a woman. She suddenly just started having symptoms of epilepsy in her body. No known cause. They prescribed phenobarbital that she was taking every day. And one day she heard an interview on the radio with Dr. Joseph Murphy, who is a New Thought writer. And he was talking of psychosomatic research on epilepsy. And one of the things that they discovered is that suppressed emotions, intense hatred and hostility toward parents were often causative factors. And in this woman's case, she totally could relate to this. So she said, I began to pray systematically, pouring out love and goodwill toward my parents until I could meet them in my mind and be at peace. Every night and morning for about 6 months, I repeated slowly, God is healing me now. One morning, I knew I was healed as a tremendous feeling of joy welled up within me. I stopped taking the drug, I don't recommend that, and went to my doctor, just reverse those two things. He conducted the usual brain tests, all were negative. That was almost 4 years ago, and I haven't had an epileptic attack since. So, what she was saying, and research was saying, it was that suppressed negative electricity needed a negative outlet. And it expressed in her case as epilepsy. So, take that for what it's worth. But to her, what was really important was the 5-word formula that she heard in the interview: God is healing me now. And she said that she just repeated that regularly until it sank into her soul. And she could feel gratitude for her life experience and recognize that it was really love that was the true healer in her body. So love, a sustainable resource to heal and promote vibrant health in the body. We never run out of that. We never run out of light. We never run out of words or imagination. Let's take some of that into our meditation and put it to use. I'll just invite you to sense your body. As you close your eyes and take a deep breath and allow your body to relax. Feel your shoulders relax. Feel your feet firmly planted on the floor. As you scan through your body, just notice if there's any part of it that has a message for you or a request. Is there anything my body wants me to know? And now use your sustainable tool of thought. And hold the idea, thank you for sharing. And allow these thoughts to sink down into your soul. Allow these thoughts to become real for you. My body is a gift to me. Divine life flows freely through my body, renewing every cell. The mind that designed this beautiful body knows just how to return it to its natural state of well-being. Thank you, dear body, for all that you do for me. Strength and power, balance and flexibility are alive and filling my very body with life. I sense the presence of divine light, filling this universe, surrounding and enfolding me. The light of God surrounds me. The light of God flows through me. I take this time now to see that bright, beautiful, healing light of perfection filling every cell of my body. Light is healing me now. Light is renewing me now. I see with my power of imagination my body living its best life, filled with joy and enthusiasm for my time here on earth. I love you, body. I know at your heart, divine good expresses fully and freely in me. I love you, body. And the love of God enfolds this beautiful body, lifting, renewing, revealing your natural state of well-being. I am alive, alert, awake, joyous, and enthusiastic about life. And so it is. Amen.